Lavondyss is a 1988 novel by Robert Holdstock, and it is second book in the Mythago Wood cycle, or just the Mythago cycle. I read Mythago Wood at this point over 3 years ago, so if you want to go watch that review, I will try to remember to link that. But this one is easy to get into at the start, as it follows a new character. It is still a sequel, though. In this one, we follow Tallis Keaton, the younger sister of Harry Keaton from Book 1. She's named after Taliesin, and we get glimpses of her at age 5 and 13 as she sees a Mythago, a being of legend created from human subconsciousness and living in Ryhope Wood. This first is actually an elk, but there's also a figure with a white mask. She is a peculiar child, free-spirited and in tune with the land around her. She essentially becomes a shaman, and the story takes us searching for a land at the heart of Mythago Wood, one in an icy age, and the changes Tallis will go through for that journey. This begins with Tallis's grandfather Owen, who tells her stories and leaves her a book with notes and tales when he dies when she is young. Interestingly, Ralph Vaughan Williams, a historical composer, comes to a young Tallis early in the story. This is around the end of his life. Tallis is a much more fun protagonist, at least she was to me. She's young and in this liminal space of her home, but also the town and the people she interacts with compared to the mysterious and otherworldly Mythagos. It's kind of a slow start, but it really strikes a mood to begin with. I do think the Mythago named Skothic is a boy, brother to Mordred and Arthur in this case. The name is that of a woman in Irish myth, though. The name of Lavondyss, what it is, besides a place where Harry is supposedly is not even known at the beginning of the story. It deals heavily with stories and how they tie to the past, or a sense of the past, being ahistorical, prehistorical, historical, legendary, whatever, and variations of stories, sort of in a comparative mythology vein, and handles the anthropology smoothly, kind of reading in a sense for a layman, more folk tale rather than ethnography as well. It's very different than Book 1, and in some ways, though very similar in a lot. The book essentially has two parts that are very different from each other. This is a very cerebral book and very thought-provoking, but not entirely gripping. I really like the beginning part of it, but when you're expecting it to get into the things, it just takes its sweet time. I think the concepts are wonderful. It's just not executed in the best way. That's kind of the same thoughts I had in Mythago Wood, where it's very interesting. It's just really slow about getting. It's not written as like adventure fiction, so don't go into it expecting it like that. It is fantasy, but it's very much not written like most fantasy. So take that into account. I think it could be a bit more gripping, and I think that'd be a bit more entertaining, even though I do like my slower, more cerebral, more literary stuff as well. It just is really slow, and there's always a lot of questions. There's always a lot of things in the periphery, right? There's not a lot sometimes going on in the front, and this stuff that does go on in front, or like it gets the direct focus sometimes, is really kind of boring sometimes. So anyways, while it is enjoyable, it's not a favorite, and again, it'll probably be a while before I get to book 3, because again, it's just fine but not great. Anyways, but it seems like it has the potential for being great. Like I was loving the beginning of it. Anyways, leave from News, I see you. I'll catch you next time.